It is Monday, July 17th, 2023, and this is, I guess, the first video of this type that I'm doing. It's kind of just a snapshot of what I've got so far for the new game I'm developing, or at least prototyping, which is currently called Eldmor. It's just kind of a fantasy kingdom name that I've had in my mind for years and never done anything with, so this might be the opportunity to do so. But right now you can maybe think of that as a code name that may or may not become official. Um, in the bottom right, you can see the mini map. There is a blinking pixel in the middle there that represents your player location. So far, I've basically been focusing on implementing all of the movement-based features, trying to get all of that working. And that includes a lot of stuff. So you can move around on all of these tiles with the arrow keys. You can move in 4 directions, up, down, left, right, just arrow keys for now. I will most likely add controller support in the future. I do have teleportation working, so you can enter this town. As you can see, it updates the text at the bottom of the screen. I have lots of different ways to update that text. Anything you interact with has the possibility of updating that. If I want, it's real easy to implement. I'm trying to make it so it's real easy to create content for the game, but everything right now is placeholder. It's essentially just prototyping the features, making sure things work. So just putting things together quickly and not really working. Like, I don't have an actual world map or story or anything laid out yet. This is all just sort of the things necessary for me to prototype a feature I'm working on, I'll add, basically. So you interact with objects by walking into them. So from here I just press the up key and I read the sign. The sign reads, "Welcome to Oakdale." You can also read these shop signs. This says, the sign reads, "The Weathered Cask." That's going to be your tavern. The sign reads, "Oakdale Inn." This is the only building in here that I have an interior for so far in this town. So we'll go ahead and go inside, see what an interior looks like. We can talk to the innkeep. The innkeep says, "My hotel's as clean as an elven arse." Nice Baldur's Gate reference for you fans out there. If you come into the back and talk to him, he says, "You're not allowed in here." You can go upstairs. I don't have anything in any of these rooms yet. I don't have the tiles drawn for a lot of this stuff yet. So as you can see also, it tells you like the door opens, things like that. When you do something, it kind of updates the text to explain it. But all these signs have their description. Carl's cudgels, Eric's armor, and Tammy's trinkets. So that'll be your weapon shop, armor shop, and accessories shop. We've got a tree here in the very center of town. If you interact with that, an ancient oak towers before you, branches swaying in the breeze. It's no wonder this town came to be called Oakdale. You can come over here, and the door is locked when we try to use this door. So, what the game that actually made me a gamer is the Fairy Tale Adventure for Amiga, which captivated me as a child. So I'm using a very simple key system that's based on the one in that game, where keys are just consumable items. They disappear when you use them to unlock a door, and each door just requires a certain color of key. Um, come up here. There's a chest here. You retrieve the silver key from the chest. And as you can see, above the text box at the bottom, you can see there's a little indicator to show how many of the keys that you have. There's a separate indicator for silver, gold, and red keys there. But it only displays if you have keys in your inventory. So now that we have a key, like I said, I'm focusing on movement stuff, so I don't have a choice, like dialogue choices implemented yet. So far, everything is controlled entirely with the arrow keys. So for right now, when you interact with a door that is locked and you do have the key, you'll just automatically use it. But once I add the dialogue choice system, which is hopefully coming soon, then you'll have the opportunity whether or not you want to use your key. That way you can strategize, which doors you would like to use that key on. But for now, we'll just go ahead and use it here. And it says you unlock the door opens. And again, there's no interiors. Only the inn has an interior so far. Like I said, you can interact with any tile, so I put a little text here. It's real easy for me to, I just drop down an object and write the text that I want to display. So I put a text over this well here in the town, put an object there, and just put in some descriptive text. The well provides the townspeople of Oakdale with fresh water from an underground spring. So, just like little text-based details to flesh out the world, there's going to be a lot of text in the game. That's kind of the idea. So I do have the idea of random battles on the overworld, and then when you're in a dungeon, you'll see the enemies, the monsters, or whatever, and essentially you'll be kind of on a battle map the entire time you're in a dungeon. But when you are on the overworld, obviously the scale of the world is different, so it will actually take you into a battle map. And I also implemented a feature with this 1-bit art style for the tiles here. You basically just, every tile can only be 2 colors, the foreground color and the background color. And the background color is the same for all of the tiles. But I can change that background color. So for random battles, for the transition into them, I basically just change the background color. I cycle, it's black most of the time, but I cycle through dark gray, dark red, and red to sort of flash or pulse a couple of times before going into the battle map. So we'll just walk around here on the grass, and soon we will be in a random battle. There we go. So the idea here will be that there will be enemies that spawn up to the top of the screen. And if you leave the map, you can only leave the map through the top or bottom of the screen. If you leave the map without killing the enemies, then you flee from the battle. And right now, I don't even have the enemy tiles drawn. So that is one of the next things I'm going to be implementing. Kind of working on that now. Excuse me. So the actual map that you go to, the battle map, is determined by the tile that you are standing on. So we were just on a grass tile. Now we are on sand. So, and for each of these battle maps, I'll have probably 6 different versions to randomly choose between, so they're not all exactly the sand maps. This is just kind of obviously a prototype, one step at a time here. I got the very basics of it working so far. Also, forests have a battle map. I need to work on the randomization. There's a lot I want to do with that, but I do randomize the trees already, so there's going to be a different number of trees, and they're going to be in different locations every time. You cannot walk through mountains. or water. Here you got a bridge. There are going to be battles on bridges, but I do not have those implemented yet. I need to work on a battle map for that. This is a dirt tile here in front of this castle, so it has its own battle map. And again, there's going to be like 6 different, of each terrain type, there's going to be like 6 different battle maps. So you can't walk into these side tiles of the castle, but you can walk into the center, and that's what's going to teleport you into it. I only have the one city working, or the town of Oakdale, but it's been prototyped so that you can see how that works. So it'll just teleport you into the town the same way. As you can see up here, there's this boat tile that you can walk into, and then now you control the boat. Now this boat can only move on shallow water. I can't go out into the deep water, but it can dock at any of the 4 main terrain tiles. So you can dock on grass, sand, dirt, or rock. I can't get over there from here, which you could also tell if you look closely at the mini-map. You can kind of plan ahead. Because I can't go through the deep water there. As I come up over here, you'll see a ship, a much bigger boat. I'll get back to that in a second, because this is the one that I need to dock over here on this rock area. Show you the last battle map. There we go. And I'm going to have it randomly generate, the bigger rock tiles as well around the area. Same way I randomize trees. And generally just have interesting places for tactical battles, is the idea. I also have kind of an event trigger system to be able to display text. So when I step on this tile, it adds text to the text log. It says, before you utilize the entrance to a dark cavern, you hope that what preparations you have made are sufficient enough to tackle the perils within. So this is where I'm basically going to be prototyping a dungeon, but right now there's nothing there. So we set sail on the boat, we disembark from the boat. There's nothing in here yet. So these ships cannot dock on land, but they have to dock on a dock tile. But the ships can travel across the deep water. So that's what's going to let you actually cross the ocean and not just the shallow water. But as I said, you can't dock on any of this land, so you'll have to find a port or dock, whatever you want to call it, in order to be able to disembark your ship. And I think that pretty much covers about what I've got implemented so far. It's about 2.5 weekends worth of work. I really haven't worked much through the week on it just because I've been so tired with work. But I am working 10-hour days right now, which means a 3-day weekend. So overall, probably around 3 weekends worth of work here. And I think it's coming together very nicely, and I'm looking forward to implementing more and more of this game.